That's Mount Fuji. Well, that's a vending machine, and this behind me is a 30-year-old Toyota MR2 Turbo, an affordable mid-engine sports car that's been out of production for decades. It was born on the back roads here around Mount Fuji, and it's the best one, and I'll tell you why in a second. It has what a lot of modern cars don't have. It's got, as cliche as it sounds, soul. There's poetry here. Look at this. Mature, sporty, personal, more innovation, more adult. Okay, I don't know about the adult part. It was an iconic car at the time, and Toyota and GR have never been in a better position to bring it back. They've dropped hints that they might be doing that, okay? If you love these cars, chances are you've already bought one. But if they can bring back a more capable, more modern, and affordable mid-engine sports car in 2026, that's a win. I'm still a little bit worried though, that they're gonna ruin the next one. Arigatou gozaimasu. 7,200 RPM. Oh, it's been so long since I've done that. It feels good. MR2 Turbo. Okay, so I'm not just being a pessimist, which it is very easy settling into that mindset in today's age of EVs and CVTs and all that stuff you guys don't like, right? But this is actually based in fact. Case in point, the 3rd gen MR2, the generation after this. MR2 Spider in North America, MRS here in Japan. A lot of you guys are gonna hate me for that, but it's true. That car just did not spike the interest of the same crowd that this car did, the one I'm driving today. This is, of course, an SW20 MR2 Turbo. The one I'm driving today is the most powerful MR2 they ever made. And there are a few things about this car that after having owned 2 of them, that's another reason why I'm doing this video, I just missed the car, that I didn't even realize, but we'll get to that in a second. Right now, let's just go over kind of what we know about, mostly speculation about what Toyota and GR's plans might be for a potential next generation MR2. So Toyota filed with a few different patent offices around the world trademarks for both MR2, MRS, and GR MR2 and GR MRS. So that got the internet going haywire, at least this very small pocket of enthusiasts who love MR2s to the point where they're willing to entertain such potentialities. And then the second thing was actually a little closer to home. So part of the reasons why I came here to Tokyo is to go to world famous Tokyo Auto Salon. And I was there about a week ago, where previous to that, a couple weeks before the show, Toyota had teased via this kind of strange phone call conversation between Akio Toyoda and his kind of pseudonym, or I guess alias, what's the name? His nickname, Morizo, teasing a midship 2-seater. And the internet went crazy with that. All the headlines were like, Toyota is about to announce an MR2, okay? I was there. They did not announce an MR2. Well, turns out they built a mid-engine 2-seater K-truck in a competition against Daihatsu. We got trolled, so here I am trying to hide my disappointment. No MR2 announcement. So, I don't know, maybe we'll hear about an MR2 in the future. A lot of us are waiting for it. But wait, sometime later in the weekend, the president of GR confirmed in an interview that a new mid-engine sports car will be coming to production. Why would they knowingly drum everyone up for this press conference, only to, just a few hours later, quietly tell a few people what we were all waiting to hear? It's a bit strange. I'm excited nonetheless, but we can expect the new 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder that GR stuffed in the middle of a Yaris concept car to be powering this new car. It's being developed to fit in a number of vehicles, and of course, governments around the world have a shock collar around everyone in the name of clean air, so GR stated, quote, "It's almost mandatory to be able to combine it with hybrid technology." Perhaps the MR2 will be spared, but I'm not holding my breath. That might also mean all-wheel drive. But to understand what the future car could be, I thought the only way to really get the full picture was to drive an SW20 again. So, and there are things, obviously, with a 30-year-old car that have aged incredibly well and things that have aged poorly. So, first thing, the engine. The engine has aged incredibly well. The size of the car, this has, right behind me, turbo spool behind me, it's the best noise, a 2-liter twin cam turbo, inline 4, it's transverse mounted, it's effectively a front wheel drive setup just put behind me. Rear wheel drive, of course, 5-speed manual, really simple package. This one has a very primitive and non-confidence inspiring traction control system. My Skyline has a very primitive traction control similar to this. Effectively, it's just a second throttle plate that snaps shut when there's any slip detected via, I'm guessing, the speed sensors, the wheel speed sensors. That's the last thing I want in a car that, according to the internet, is notoriously known for snap oversteer. This is the last kind of system that I want. It's in the name, lift off oversteer. So if I have a system that's going to cut throttle and lift off while I'm potentially in an oversteer pucker up moment, whew, that does not sound good. So we're gonna run with traction control off. 240 horsepower, about 200 pound-feet of torque in a car that weighs about 2,800 pounds. So believe it or not, 240 horsepower, 2,800 pounds. This car from the factory did about 5.5 seconds, 0 to 60, which now is slow, but the thing is you get torque here. It's just a little bit smoother to roll on the torque when the turbo spools up. It's not this snappy, tiny turbo that lights up and then sends you sideways. It's not unpredictable. It's actually an incredibly smooth and predictable power band. In that sense, the old school kind of turbo feel here, it's the charm of the car. It's the whole mid-range power punch. The torque is super predictable. Steering, okay, it's got a little bit of a dead spot on center. I actually remember the power steering in this car being worse than it is. It's just that the ratio, it's not as quick as you would expect if you've driven any kind of modern Lotus Emira or any Cayman, anything that has come out in the last 10 years, right? This still has an electro-hydraulic power steering setup. It's just an electric pump, but it's a hydraulic system, so it is hydraulic power steering. Now, our friend Bob Pham does have a solution. Well, it's not his solution, but for the steering. The third gen cars, they had one redeeming quality, okay? And that was the electric power steering rack was a lot quicker. And I've driven a modified car that he built at Chuckwalla Raceway in California with that steering rack. It's night and day. If you guys are gonna track an MR2 Turbo, you want that steering rack. Even though there's a little bit less feel, this factory steering rack just does not hold up on the track. There's too much of a light kind of loose dead spot on center. I'd say that's the biggest issue with the car. That and the brakes. The top of the brake pedal there's like nothing there. And this car I'm driving today does have 322,000 kilometers on it. This is a car that will teach you how to drive quickly. You just have to kind of respect it. Gear ratios are short. Suspension design, this is just straight up. It wasn't even advanced for the time. It didn't have double wishbone. It's just McPherson struts all the way around. I mean, this is still a quick car 30 years later. Okay, backwards hat so you guys can see me. A new MR2 needs to be affordable. Someone here needs to just be bold and try new ideas, new things. Toyota is in such a good position to do that. They've got momentum, like I said, with the GR86, the GR Supra, the GR Yaris, Corolla, and now the GR GT and GT3. It's insane. And take a look around, you guys. Nissan, Honda, do you see them taking bold moves for that small niche enthusiast market? You guys, anytime soon? I just don't see it happening. And Lexus even demonstrated this when they showed off that all-electric AE86 with a manual transmission. Now, Is that necessarily what we want from the next generation MR2? Absolutely not. But the mindset, their headspace is in the right place. Try new, novel things that people aren't expecting. We don't want an EV. We can toss that to the side. And yes, Toyota did come out with the FTSC concept, I believe it was called, which looked like a mid-engine vehicle, but they didn't explicitly say that car was an EV and it was all-wheel drive, okay? I don't want hybrid really either. The car needs to be rear-wheel drive. It needs to be rear-wheel drive gasoline in the back with some kind of combustion. And crucially, you guys, and I didn't say this about the GR GT before we knew what that car was when I made a similar video speculating, I was okay if that car didn't have a manual because it's more of a GT car, and MR2 needs to have a manual. You know, if you're on a roll like GR and Toyota are, I expect more. You know, it's like, is this the peak? If this is the peak, let's go all in. And a manual would do that. I also think it just needs to be rear-wheel drive. It needs to keep what this car does best, which is it's fun at low speeds. And that's kind of exactly why I picked this road. And what comes with fun at low speed, that's usually, in a car like this, a byproduct of lightweight, low mass. So 3,000 pounds, let's call it. If a base Cayman with a 4-cylinder with all the safety and tech can come in just under 3,100 pounds, I think Toyota could do the same here. For lack of a better term, it's got to have soul. It's got to make noises. Turbo spooling up behind me. Sure, it could. There you go. There's some oversteer. It could be a hybrid, but when I say that, I mean, it could have an electric turbo, let's say, like Porsche has in the new 911 Turbo. Spools up quick, but still enables you to have around 400 horsepower. I think that would be the sweet spot. The car's still loose, and maybe this is a byproduct of not having a more advanced suspension setup, double wishbone, or maybe it's just that this car is actually usable and comfortable. And at the time, Toyota's mandate was, yeah, every car has to do everything that a car should do. You need to be able to put groceries in it and all that. That needs to carry forward. But the seats are great. It's got adjustable lumbar. It's got adjustable side bolsters. And everything's just held up really well in here. And it has a ton of trunk space. Okay, maybe not as much as a first-gen NSX, but this is a full 12 days of luggage right here. And there is even some secret spots for snacks down on the sides there. And if you're really in a pinch, take a gamble, remove the spare tire and throw another backpack or two in front here. It's a real daily drivable car. With modern safety, there's no way Toyota could pull off packaging like this. This car is not small in the modern context driving around Tokyo. You see Honda S660s everywhere, a little tiny K car that's mid-engine. Honda Beats, obviously, from the past as well, but those cars at higher speeds, they don't have the grip level really to compete and to have fun. They just don't have the same dynamics. You're wrestling with this tiny steering wheel. They're fun. It's a kind of a gimmick though, right? One of the downsides though with this car that a modern aerodynamic system, suspension setup would fix is the front end. If you're below 80, 90 miles an hour, it's okay, but above that, you start to feel the front end get a little bit light, and that's not a great feeling. Okay, so I may have just wasted all your time. Lotus makes the Emira, a manual transmission mid-engine sports car with a Toyota engine. So, yeah, on to the next video.
Through the windy, wild and barren, over mountain pass once more, I would sail the wide blue ocean if it would land me on your shore.
The MR2 has never been about peak performance, if that wasn't already clear by this car's failed attempt to race Le Mans in the 1990s. It's simply meant to make the average person feel like they're part of an exotic experiment that at any moment could all go terribly wrong. In the age of automatics and 5,000-pound computer-controlled supercars, that should be easier to capture than ever before.